Greetings, ChesCo Gridiron Insiders, family and friends, and welcome to Episode 7, Week 6 show. PT and myself will bring you the highlights of all 8 ChesCo Gridiron games from last Friday evening, including 6 kickoff returns, all for touchdowns in the first half alone. Kyle Berger will join the show as a special guest to break down where each ChesCo Gridiron team stands going into Week 6 as far as the PIAA playoff seeding. Coach Wolf and Coach Milano will break down our game of the week between Westchester East as they visit Oxford. And then finally, predictions for all 7 Gridiron matchups this week. Don't leave your living rooms, but first, a word from our sponsors at Studio One in Downingtown.
Highlights of this week's games are brought to you by Studio One, the home of ChesCo Gridiron Insiders for our inaugural season. Studio One also houses Sports Vault. Sports Vault is your premium provider of sports-related autographed and non-autographed merchandise. Sports Vault is the leader in licensed sports memorabilia, novelties, trading cards, and custom framing. Sports Vault is located at 520 East Lancaster Avenue in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. We are always looking to add sponsorship and join our family here at ChesCo Gridiron Insiders. This week, we are adding a Player of the Week segment, and pretty soon we may add an Upset of the Week that you can sponsor. Just send an email to and we can set you up with the sponsorship package of your choice.
Okay, ChesCo Gridiron Insider fans, we're going to start our highlight portion of the show. So we travel to Avongrove to check out Coatesville moving down the field on their opening possession. Quarterback Matt Ortega Jr. keeps his zone read, and the Red Raiders are on the board 7-0. So Coatesville with the early lead down in Avongrove. However, on Avongrove's first possession, running back Jose Sebastro counters with a zone read of his own and the left side for a touchdown. Max Hiller gets his hand on an extra point, and Coatesville still has a 7-6 lead. We're still in the first quarter here. Andre Watson Jr. finds pay dirt from 35 yards out to give Coatesville a 14-6 advantage. Boy, he's a special back, Coach.
He really is. Yeah, he's given them a leg up since he joined the team.
And on the ensuing kickoff, special teams do Avongrove in again as the ball is muffed and the Red Raiders recover on the Avongrove 30-yard line. The Avongrove defense forces a turnover on downs, but on the first play of the second period, Josh Van Orden steps in front of a Nick Waldron pass and is going to take that ball to the Red Devil 15-yard line. So Coatesville set up again. 2 plays later, sophomore running back Sage Bradshaw weaves his way through the Avongrove 5-man front.
Nice cut.
And Coatesville goes on to beat the Red Devils 45-13. Now we are in Downingtown as Bishop Shanahan hosts Westchester Henderson. Shanahan wastes no time getting on the board as the theme of this night is kickoff returns. And Aiden Civitella goes 89 yards to put the Eagles up 7-0.
There he goes. Runs right out of the screen. That is a great start.
Great start at home, yeah. Henderson takes their opening possession into Eagles territory. But tonight, week spotlight player of the week, Aiden Civitelli, makes a diving interception in the end zone to quell this Henderson scoring drive. What a play here.
Yeah. I mean, that's his second in 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks.
Both interceptions and both in the end zone.
Yeah, the Henderson defense now, you're going to see forces a Shanahan punt. But on Henderson's next possession, quarterback Jackson Cherub is blindsided by outside linebacker Nate Bracken, and Shanahan recovers at the Henderson 36-yard line. This was a heck of a hit.
I know you were at the game. Did you yell, "Look out"?
Yeah, Cherub never saw it coming.
And I believe that Brian Whalen recovered that.
Yes, he did. Shanahan recovers at the Henderson 36-yard line. With time winding down in the first period, where do you see this run from quarterback Anthony Aguila? He decides it's time for himself to show why he was a spotlight player last week and takes this quarterback power 21 yards to pay dirt. He broke about 3 Henderson tackles on his way to the end zone, Coach.
Yep. Wow. Spin move. There he is. He's off that tackle. And he's got some wheels.
14-0 Eagles. But Henderson can throw the football, and here's Jackson Cherub gets Henderson on the board by throwing this dime to Ryan Terse on a smash curl route. Nice route by Terse on the 13-yard TD. 14-7. Terse had 8 catches on the night.
Yeah. He spun, I think it was Savatello around.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot.
That doesn't hapen a lot, yeah. And
but he's about to make up for it.
He makes up for it on the ensuing kickoff. He goes 83 yards on the same kickoff return to put Shanahan up by 2 scores, 21-7. He was untouched on this one, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, it looks to me like it was the identical return. It's just to the opposite side. Like if you run right, although they flipped, it was the second quarter, so it was the exact same return left. Amazing.
Now it's time for the Shanahan defense to take over, as we're going to see them cause a turnover here. Is number 44, Brian Whalen, strips the Henderson ball carrier, Matt Wagner, and Shanahan pounces on it at the Warriors' 35-yard line.
Yeah, this is how you teach it, man.
Yeah,
you got him wrapped up, take the guy's hand, and you pull his hand away, and that's exactly what happened.
5 Henderson turnovers on the night.
Oof.
On the next Eagles drive, Aguila finds senior Owen McGrory on a simple, quick hit that he takes 60 yards to give Bishop Shanahan a commanding 28-7 first-half lead.
Yeah, that's just a quick hook on a first down, trying to get, 5-6 yards.
6 yards.
And instead he takes it to the house.
Shanahan goes on to win 49-14. Okay, we're going to head down to Kennett where they begin Southern Division play and open up against Sun Valley. Midway through the first period, Gavin Rich takes a jet sweep handoff and reverses field, weaving in and out of Vanguard defenders for 52 yards. Kennett takes a 7-0 lead. Kennett's an underrated team, EJ.
Depends. I mean, I know I picked them in the beginning of the year to win the conference,
right.
and everybody else picked Unionville, and I like Unionville, trust me. But, I guess we're going to find out within the next week or two.
Yeah. Okay, the Blue Demons have to – okay, here, 3rd and 9, outside linebacker Ryan Falco strips Vanguard quarterback, and Andrew Sharpetta recovers it. The Blue Demons have to settle for a 29-yard field goal from Shea Barker to take a 10-0 lead with 2:14 remaining in the first period.
That's the other thing that they do very, very well. They force turnovers.
Yeah, they force turnovers, and Sun Valley returns the kickoff here. We're going to see another theme of the evening. Sun Valley shows some life, and they return the kickoff for a touchdown and climb to within 3 points of Kennett at 10-7. That's our third return in the first half.
Yeah, Civitello's 2, and now we have the third.
Yeah, Zion Carthorne with a 100-yard kickoff return.
Yeah.
One of Coach Steve Maloney's basketball players.
Yeah, I think Coach Maloney lent him to the football team, so I'm sure they're very thankful for that.
Okay, we move to the second period action, and Matthew Reidenberger takes this wing counter 5 yards, and Kennett leads 17-7.
Sneaks right on in there.
On the next Vanguard possession, Reidenberger isn't done as he comes up with a huge sack on 3rd down. Yeah, they didn't give Sun Valley anything all night.
No, I mean, let's face it. I mean, if you're down, you got to keep the team down, right? And they put a lot of pressure on them, cause turnovers.
Sun Valley punts, and Kennett moves in the red zone where Garrett McCracken rolls out and finds Hunter Taylor on this 20-yard flag pattern for a commanding 24-7 lead. Kennett would go on to beat the Vanguards 47-7. Next, we travel down Route 29 to watch Academy Park take on the Great Valley Patriots. On a second play from scrimmage, the Knights form some trickery as number 7 and backup quarterback Dan Goldag does a jet sweep for a 66-yard touchdown pass to senior Randy Baker.
The only reason we've covered it at Academy Park twice, that's how I knew that number 7 was their backup quarterback.
Okay. The Patriot corner really overcommitted on that play, it seemed like.
Yeah, he bit. He had his eyes in the backfield, and he lost the wide receiver.
On Academy Park's next possession, senior running back Jaden Bourne takes this zone read carry all the way inside the Patriots' 10-yard line. And at this point, it looks like Academy Park's going to blow Great Valley out, doesn't it, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, you scored once, and now you're inside the 10-yard line. But to the Patriots' credit, we'll see right here.
Yeah, 4th and goal from the 1, but the Great Valley defense turns away Academy Park as seniors Brody, Camry, Amir Scott, and Carney Moore stuffed Wildcat quarterback Baker.
Yeah, they were all over him.
Now we hit the third quarter action with the score still 6-0. Number 66, Amir Scott blitzes from his outside linebacker position, you're going to see here, and crushes the Knight quarterback.
Yeah, unblocked. That's a huge loss.
Big 10-yard loss.
On a third down play.
Okay, late in the third quarter on a 4th and 1, sophomore running back Bo Kosmowski takes this outside zone.
2 really nice stiff arms.
Avoiding Knight defenders before getting dragged out of bounds at the 33-yard line. On the same drive, an almost identical play, Kosmowski squeezes into the end zone to tie the game.
He's really had a nice year.
Yeah,
sophomore running back. Runs
hard. Be a star.
He's even a better. They like him at safety too.
The PAT is drilled by junior place kicker Ryan Wilshire, and the Pats go on to beat Academy Park at home 7-6, and it was a great defensive effort by the Patriots.
Absolutely. Kudos to Coach Phillips and the boys for picking up that tough win.
Now we head to Malvern as the Friars host DC Power Gonzaga, and we start first Zags possession, and Friars defense does what it does best, create turnovers. Sophomore George Parkinson strips the ball loose, and the Friars recover on the Gonzaga 31-yard line. The drive stalls, however, and the Friars take the lead early with this Ian Cooper 30-yard field goal.
Ian
Gopez, excuse me. Joe Carr's defense goes back to work, and defensive tackle Jake Coleman sniffs out this middle screen and takes it 18 yards for the score, and Malvern is up 10-0 already with 6:13 left in the first period.
Yeah, there was a couple defensive tackles there waiting for that one.
Gonzaga drives down the field on their next possession, and junior quarterback Jason Lindsay deposits this 13-yard quarterback power in the end zone, and the Zags are on the board, trailing 10-7. On the ensuing kickoff, staying with our theme, senior Trey Gibson takes this middle return 92 yards untouched for our 4th kickoff return so far in our Friday night highlight segment.
See,
it's crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy, Pete. I mean, I've never – all in the first half as well.
All in the first half, yeah.
You remember anything like this?
No, not in the same night. Moving to second quarter action, Jackson Melconian and the Friars offense on the move finds tight end senior Dylan Noble right down the seam from 21 yards out, and Malvern has a commanding 24-7 lead with 6:30 left in the third period.
It must have been something they saw on film.
We're going to move to the fourth period. Malvern looking to put this one away. Melconian throws his max protection fade perfectly to junior wide receiver Kate Cooper, and the Friars are up 31-14 with 11:45 to go in the fourth. We have to show this one. It's not a kickoff, but Friars trying to pin Gonzaga deep hit the Zags in a reverse of a punt 99 yards.
I don't know who runs a reverse like that, that deep in your territory when you're losing 31 to.
And look at junior
14
Drew
at
Water.
He's flying. He is flying.
He almost chases down the Zags runner.
Absolutely. Great effort.
The other side of the field. Malvern holds on 31-24 and moves to 4-1 on the year. They will have a bye week before starting the interact portion of their schedule.
I think they opening up against Shermantown Academy.
Yes, on the road. Now we're at Downingtown East, Westchester East, at Westchester East. And we're going to see Cougar running back Jules Chiron Robinson continuing his stellar season here, starting the scoring with his 46-yard TD run, 7-0 Cougars.
Nice cut.
He's got over 1,000 yards already, Coach.
Yeah. Can he get 2, Pete?
Yeah, I think he can. Down 30-0, Westchester East gets on the scoreboard with this 80-yard bomb from quarterback Logan Cummings to Chase Golden. Cummings has 8 touchdown passes the last 3 weeks for the Vikings. He's got a really good arm.
Yeah, he definitely throws a good deep ball. He missed a couple against Academy Park early when I covered the game, but he was on the money there.
Okay, back to the Cougar run game, and this time Chiron Robinson races 58 yards to put the Cougars up 44-26. So that's 2 long touchdown runs by the sophomore. Good speed on the kid, yeah.
Great speed.
But he wasn't the only one making plays. We're going to see Alex Rios scores his 4th touchdown of the night as the Cougars ran for 7 touchdowns and win 51-26 with Rios accounting for 4 of them. He was the main guy last year, but he's taking a secondary role. But last couple of weeks, he's seeing a lot more carries, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, he was a really good back for them last year. There's no reason why, he wouldn't get a carry. Obviously, there is a reason why. But, Cougars roll.
We head to Unionville for Oxford at Unionville. Down 7-0 already. Oxford quarterback Nolan Neske hits his fullback Braden Hunt in the flat. Hunt turns this up and goes 58 yards to make it a 7-6 game.
Yeah, a little waggle. I mean, there's just nobody
action
in the flat. I don't know if the zone got a little bit too deep there or what, but nice play.
Nice play there for Oxford. 3rd and 8 here. Unionville quarterback Tommy McGinnis is going to hit Drew Paleo on a deep over route for a 45-yard gain.
Yep. Shouldn't be a shock to anyone by now, right?
Right.
Paleo is their guy to throw to.
Right, the Hornets are down 14-6 at this point. But Oxford, here we go again. Oxford's number 1, Jalen McLean, goes 98 yards for the kickoff return. They get the 2-point conversion, and they tie it up 14-14. This is a heck of a return, Coach. Watch this one.
Wow.
I mean, he's just blazing speed there.
Absolutely.
Beautiful cut there.
Word to the wise to other Southern opponents, don't kick off to number 1.
Right. Unionville running back Brody McLean goes in for his 2nd of his 5 touchdowns on the night to tie the game 21-21 at halftime, and it's a barn burner down in the southern part of the county.
Kid's a touchdown machine.
Yeah,
Pete.
he loves sniffs the goal line. He was the spotlight player of the week a few weeks ago, wasn't he, Coach?
You got McLaughlin.
And he's going to score.
You got McGinnis. You got Puello. I mean, they definitely have playmakers.
And they're big up front.
Yep.
McLaughlin scores his 3rd TD of the night to give Unionville a 28-21 lead over the Hornets. You're going to see something here which is really nice. A great throw and catch from Oxford as Neske hits Jake Patterson on the post for a 31-yard score. Neske's a sophomore. He's coming into his own.
Yeah, they really like him down there. Don't be surprised to see them start throwing the ball a little bit more.
Unionville will block the PAT, and they retain a 28-27 lead. And now we're going to see McLaughlin showing off his speed again, going 58 yards to make it 35-27 in favor of the Longhorns.
Could have been a backbreaker right there.
Yeah. See a little something different now from Unionville is McLaughlin's going to be in the Wildcat formation, and he's going to score his 5th touchdown of the night. And Unionville gives the Hornets their first loss of the season, 49-34.
They used this formation several times last year. I think when McGinnis got hurt in a game or two. Be interesting to see if they eventually wind up throwing out of it.
And okay, we're in this much anticipated our game of the week, the Whippets of Downingtown West and Westchester Ruston, did not disappoint.
Wait, don't tell me.
Yeah, the fun all started with the opening kickoff. Amari Cannon took the kickoff on the 1-yard line, started up with their infamous middle return. The Whippets created a great scene to get Cannon, got the final block from number 11, and then outran everyone to start the scoring, and West led 7-0.
Yeah, they've been running that for eons, since Coach Milano.
A few series later on a 3rd and 1, TJ Sinkus lined up a quarterback, and after a jet sweep fake, ran off tackle behind a key block by left guard Mason Dickey. TJ was untouched for all 40 yards, and the Whippets had a 2-score lead. The PAT was unsuccessful, so it was 13-0. But Ruston answered on their next possession. Fullback Will Garner took a toss from Max Blaine, and after getting a takedown by his wingback Colin Baldessari, raced 27 yards for a TD. Great block there.
Great block, but, I mean, you continue to watch Garner run from week to week, and he's just getting back to his normal self.
Yeah.
It's faster and faster. It's really good to see.
He's headed to the Air Force Academy next year. Later, the Whippets get a break when Brendan Good Kimball intercepts a Blaine pass in Ruston territory. Dive right in front of the receiver.
He read it.
Yeah. However, Whippet quarterback Cole Bricker returns the favor, and his short pass is picked off by Max Learn for an 80-yard TD, pick six, and Ruston ties the game 13-all as they miss the extra point.
I don't ever recall. I mean, it seems like this kid's snake bitten. He continues to throw pick sixes week in and week out. The good news is that, he still is a really good quarterback and makes really good passes, and the Whippets continue to win. So.
Yeah. Late in the half, with the score still tied at 13, Ruston gets a big run from Baldessari on a belly sweep play. We'll see that play again a little later. This big run sets up an unsuccessful field goal attempt, however, for Ruston as the kicking game does them in a little bit. Later on a West possession, Bricker hits Good Kimball on a back shoulder wheel route for a 20-yard gain. I think Bricker might be pressing a little, Coach, because he's got all the ability.
He had a heck of a year last year. I'm sure there's colleges looking at him. It's not easy. Great throw.
Yeah. A few plays later, West breaks the tie when Jacob Barry bowls in from 1 yard out to put the Whippets back in front 20-13.
He just rolled over the top.
Ruston continues the battle, however, and on a 3rd and 6, quarterback Max Blaine scrambles for 20 yards to set up the potential game-tying score. Nice run here by Blaine.
He did something like that in the Unionville game as well.
Okay, and he got it down to around the 23-yard line of the Whippets. A few plays later, they do just that when Will Garner rumbled 19 yards on a belly ISO play, running through a tackle by the West safety to get into the end zone. Garner's man on a mission the last few weeks.
Yep.
Okay, the Golden Knights decide to go for 2 points in the win. They align in a double-tight formation with a wingback to the right. The play of choice is the belly sweep play we saw earlier. However, on this play, Whippet linebacker Max Wolfington diagnoses perfectly and runs through the open C gap to make the tackle for a loss, and the Whippets escape with a 2019 lead. The Whippets go on to hang on and earn a hard-fought victory in another great game of the week, Coach.
Absolutely. So, stay tuned. We got a treat for you. We're bringing on special guest diagnosis, athletic director in North Penn, Kyle Berger, as he will give you your team's chances going into week 6 of the season and where they stand in the playoff hunt. Stay tuned.
Welcome, ChesCo Gridiron Insiders fans. We're here today. We're going to talk with Kyle Berger, the District 1 playoff guru and the athletic director at North Penn. He's going to break down some scenarios in the District 1 6A, 5A, and 4A playoff scene. Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Kyle, thanks for joining us. Just like last year, you're the guy, and we figured we'd give everybody an early preview. I'm sure the coaches want to kind of get, pick your brain a little bit. We won't do that, and then we'd love to have you on again week 9, to kind of wrap things up. So what I'll do right now is I'm going to give you take a look at the board. We're ready to go. So if you want to start at the top with our schools, I know Penridge looks really good, and then you have Coatesville. Your thoughts, I guess, on our 4 6As, Coatesville, Downingtown East, and then Downingtown West, and then finish up.
I think Coatesville and Penridge kind of battling it out for the number 1 seed is going to be really interesting to see how that shakes out over the next 4 weeks. I think Penridge probably has their toughest hurdle between them and an undefeated season this week. They play Neshaminy, and then they do the tour of Central Bucks with West, East, and South, all winnable games for Penridge. For Coatesville, you look at them, Henderson, both Downingtowns, and then Shanahan. It's going to come down to probably tenths of a point if both these two teams go 10-0 down the stretch. So, we'll be interested to see where that shakes out for week 10. And then when you go a little bit further down, you see Downingtown East at 4.
Can I ask a question first?
Yeah, sure.
Just and brief. So if Coatesville were to win out and Penridge were to win out, do you think it would be that close? Because Shanahan's a 4A.
Yeah, but it'll be a 4A with a good record,
Whereas the Penridge teams, they're playing the 6As, but they all have bad records.
Correct. So there's there's a little bit of math involved there, which I'm not a fan of. That's why we have spreadsheets. You know, Penn Ridge has benefited from a couple of their non-conference opponents having pretty good records as well. You know, you might see Coatesville on Saturday night rooting for Lincoln from New York to win their game to maybe get them that number 1 seed. But I do think, all things being equal, it's going to maybe be Penn Ridge by 10 points or 20 points if we get down to 2 10-0 teams there.
Understood. Thank you. Number 4, Downingtown East.
Yeah, I mean, they're at this point, I know they've got a lot of work left in front of them, but they're certainly in the running for a top 4 seed. I don't see that, you know, being out of the picture. They've got to play Coatesville. They've got to play Shanahan. They've got to play Ruston this week, and the big Week 10 game against Downingtown West. There's never a favorite in that game. You know, you never know who's going to win. So there are some things up in the air for them. 100% lock in the playoffs at this point, though, I'd imagine. And then, you know, right now they're playing for 1, 2, or 3 home games. So a lot to, you know, accomplish yet for Downingtown East. But it's, you know, they're on a bit of a roll after Week 1, 5 wins in a row, and it's all in front of them right now.
And not to be disparaging, right? I'm obviously I'm in the district, but like, let's say they happen to lose 3 out of those last 4 games, but you said, hey, still in the playoffs, 6-4, they're still in.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the ledger, so to speak, they wind up 6-4. Those 4 losses will all be proverbial good losses. Teams with very good records that will help them in those points. They could fall, you know, at 6-4. Hey, maybe they wind up being a 14 seed that nobody wants to play, but they'll certainly still be in the dance.
Gotcha. All right. Downingtown West, kind of like a 13, but like look at who they lost to, 13, right?
Yeah, that's again like one of those teams that could wind up on the back end of the bracket and playing on the road, and that, you know, 7 or 6 seed is like, oh no, right? So Great Valley this week should be a win for them. Shanahan should be a good game. Coatesville should be a good game, in Downingtown East, again, the rivalry game. So it's all in front of them. They certainly have the opportunity to improve their standing if they're able to, you know, finish the season with 3 wins out of 4. They're definitely going to be a top 8 seed.
Kyle, how about if things go haywire for West and they lose 2 of these last 4? Do they still get in?
Yeah, you know, we always kind of try to look, and it's tough after 6 weeks, but once you get maybe past like 8 weeks, you can almost project the cut line.
Okay.
Which, again, it's on points, not record, but I think a 6-4 Downingtown West team would certainly stay in that top 16. You know, I don't know that this is a year where a 5-5 team makes the playoffs. That happens, it seems like, once every 3 or 4 years. But I think 6-4 should get you in.
One last question, and this is why I send you the big paycheck at the end of the year. What if anything can Avongrove do to get in? Now, you just basically answered the question. I think you said even a 5-5 most likely won't get in this year, so they'd have to win out to get to 5-5, but it would still probably be not enough.
Yeah, I mean, to use a poker term, they're drawing dead right now with 4 weeks to go. They would need a million things to go their way. You know, they don't have a single game against a 6A school remaining. Their last week game is against a winless 4A team. So there's just not a lot of meat on the bone for them to get into that field of 16. You know, if you look at the standings top to bottom, I pretty much see it as there are 20 teams left in this race. My cut line right now is Springford at
Right.
they're 2-4 in the 20 spot. I think they are still mathematically in it. They've got enough kind of left over to play for. But I think from Lower Marion on down, it's a pretty steep drop off, and it's going to be very tough for any of those teams to make it.
Yep, I agree. Thank you. All right, let's take a look at 5A. 5A, wow, you know, it's like, you look at that and you see everything that's going on. There are a lot of really, really good teams there. We'll start off, I guess, for us, it would be number 5 with Kennett. What do you see there? They're definitely have a lot of. They played Sun Valley, right? So now they're better teams in that conference, minus I guess an Avon, but Avon is 6A. So where do we stand there?
Yeah, so you make a good point, right? You have an Avon Grove as a 6A team that's kind of dangling there with a couple extra points to pick up. Not an incredibly strong schedule down the stretch, but that tells me they're going to take care of business, right? And has as good a chance of anybody to go potentially 9-1 and get one of those top 4 seeds. I think that's certainly on the agenda for them. I think if they were to finish at 9-1, that could be a doable top 4 seed for them. Springfield and Strathaven are going to play each other week 10. So one of those 2 teams is going to drop a little bit toward the end of the season.
This, out of our Chester County, which I shouldn't do too much here, but does Chester have anything in front of them that could cause them to lose?
I mean, looking at their schedule, no, to be perfectly honest with you. I really think they've been pretty darn good through 6 weeks, right? I don't know that they will have anything in front of them that's going to trip them up. I think between them and Springfield, if Springfield runs the table at 10-0, perhaps they are able to eclipse them as the top seed. But Chester and Springfield kind of control their own destiny there as the number 1 and 2 seeds.
Gotcha. All right, number 6, Westchester East. They were 4-0, and now they're 4-2. They were really, really banged up, I guess, over the last 2 weeks. Playing very good opponents, both 6A schools. And then they have Oxford this week, who's been playing very well. What's it look like for Westchester East as they start league play?
Yeah, I think, they are going to have to earn their way in, by beating a tough Oxford team and, your 2 intra-district games with Henderson and Ruston right after that. And then certainly a winnable game week 10 against Great Valley. So, they're sitting okay. And, the big picture here in 5A is it's almost the opposite of 6A. There is probably, I would say, out of the 27 teams in 5A, 23 are still alive for those 16 spots. We've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we've seen 3 and 7 teams make the postseason before in 5A. Yeah. So it's a little watered down there. So, certainly I think if I'm a Kennett, if I'm an East, if I'm a Ruston, I'm trying to get those home games. So that's what they're playing for, because pretty much they're going to be in the postseason at this point. They're just playing for a top 8 or a top 4 seed.
A 6-4 Westchester East in?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think, as we typically see, I mean, right now, Upper Dublin is 2-4, and they have the 16 seed if the season ended today. So you will probably see one, if not more, teams with a sub 500 record in 5A make the postseason.
Gotcha. Okay, Ruston. 2 tough losses for them, for sure. And now they have Downingtown East coming up this weekend. And then, like you said, they'll play their 2 rivals and then Great Valley. So I guess this is a great opportunity for them to maybe be able to jump Kennett and Westchester East, maybe?
Yeah, I think if they run the table, certainly that's going to happen. I think if they wind up at a 6-4 or a 7-3, they're still going to be probably top 8. So that's in front of them, and obviously a tough matchup this week against Downingtown East. If they can pull off, I guess, what we would call an upset there, that puts them really in the driver's seat for the home stretch of their season.
I mean, maybe an upset. I believe that Coach St. Clair's beat Coach Matta the last 3 times they played.
Yes, they have.
So maybe not. 9, Unionville. Now 4-2, and those 2 losses were extremely tough We did the game of the week, the first week 0, where it was on the last play of the game, and then they went for 2 and didn't get it against Shanahan. But that I mean, a really, really good 9 seed there. What can you see?
Yeah, so I mean, their biggest game left on the schedule is in a couple weeks against Kennett, and I think the other 3 are certainly they're the favored team in those matchups. So you look at them; they're sitting at the 9 seed right now. They win 3 of the last 4 going in, wind up 7-3. They'll be in the top 8. They, get past Kennett and wind up at 8-2. You're flirting with a 6-5 or maybe even a 4 seed.
So, really quick, if let's say Ruston were to win out, which isn't impossible, and then Unionville to win out, Ruston beat Unionville, you would expect that they would be ahead, correct? Especially if they're beating Downtown East, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where they stand now, and with the schedules kind of matching up against each other, yeah, Ruston would have a little bit of an inside track over Unionville, and of course, if they wind up tied, first tiebreaker would be head-to-head, so Ruston would take that.
Gotcha. Henderson at 11. Tough opponent this week in Coatesville. And then after that, they have the rivalry game with East. And then I think last week is right, but Ruston's the last week. Top 3. You could say all their games are pretty tough going forward. Maybe they were to, if they go 5-5, are they in?
I think they will, just because there's not a lot of. I'm looking at the numbers and the teams that are beneath them. I don't know that anybody that would be a 5-5 at the end of the season would be any higher up than them. And I think, like I said, you're going to see multiple teams with 5-5 records, maybe even 4-6, make the field of 16 in this 5A bracket. So, all 3 of these Westchester schools are kind of all battling for the same things. I think Henderson's, at least in the standings, is clearly a notch below East and Ruston at this point. But, they make some hay in the couple weeks ahead. They could slide up into, an 8 or a 9 seed.
Gotcha. Oxford hosting Westchester East this week, so there's a battle of 2 teams right there. 5-1, we know, they hadn't played great opponents in their 5 wins, but, played a really tough game and lost to Unionville. A couple things they said didn't go their way. But what is 7-3? Are the Hornets getting the home game? Playoff game?
You alluded to their schedule not being nearly as strong as everybody else's. So, and that's why you see it at 5-1. They have 6 teams at 4-2 ranked ahead of them. So they have the most work to do to get a home game, believe it or not, with all of these schools that we've talked about already. They need help from some non-conference teams to win some games down the stretch. And, I don't know that that's going to happen for them. So they're going to have to, I think, to get a home game here, knock off Westchester. Basically run the table, right? Beat Westchester East, get some good points from that win, and get some good points from Kennett as well.
Gotcha.
I believe they only have 9 games this year, too. Does that hurt them?
It's an average and not a total. So, you kind of...
the schedule, though, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of pick your poison, because I have, believe it or not, had some coaches and ADs in the offseason email me and say, like, hey, should we get a 10th game, or does it really not matter? And I said, well, you got to kind of do some calculus, not actual calculus, but, do I risk just getting win points from a team, or is this a team that I think we can beat and we'll wind up getting 200 points if we beat them and they win, 6 or 7 games? So some coaches say, you know what, we're better off maybe with 9 and we'll just divide by 9. But a lot of other coaches prefer to have a 10-game schedule.
All right, one last question then. Great Valley. they 3-1, and then yes, or I mean, because that'll get them to 5-5. That's not going to be an easy do, but
Yeah, I think with Great Valley, they do have a lot of work left, certainly. But you look at the teams they play, right? I think they're going to pick up a ton of points down the stretch if they can beat, let's say, 2 out of those 4. They really can I think solidify their spot.
So
5-5 would get them in, no doubt.
4 and 6.
4 and
You
6,
said
they
2
might
out
be a
of the
16
4.
seed, guys. Yeah, I mean that could be like one of those teams that we talk about. Depending on what happens with the teams above them. I mean, I look at a team like, let's see, like Chichester, for example. Chichester might win one more game this year, so they could be tumbling out.
Right.
Upper Dublin, they've really struggled this year and play in a pretty tough schedule. And looking at the remainder of their games, they'll probably be favored in one of the 4 games remaining. So these are some teams that Great Valley could certainly leap over. If they go 2-2, they're in the conversation. I'm not going to say they're 100% in, but they're certainly going to be in the conversation.
All right, fair enough. Outstanding. Well, thank you so much, Kyle. We really appreciate it. Love having you on. I hope we really helped not only a lot of fans, but even some coaches, get a look at where they are going forward right now.
Yeah,
So,
sure thing. And I know we had wanted to mention like 4A real quick with Bishop Shanahan.
Oh, shoot,
and,
yeah.
The 4 teams that are in the top 4 spots in 4A, Pope John Paul, Bishop Shanahan, Lower Moreland, and Springfield from Montgomery County, they're going to be the 4 playoff teams. And Pope John Paul and Bishop Shanahan will be the 1 or the 2 seed, depending on what happens. Lower Moreland or Springfield will be the 3 or 4 seed, depending on how their season ends. So, there's a clear delineation as far as, the 2 tiers of 4A. And keep in mind, Pope John Paul, Week 10, is going to have to play in that pack crossover game against one of the bigger schools. So that's one of those that they didn't necessarily sign up for, right? But they're going to have to play a 6A school that will probably be 8-1, maybe 9-0, depending on who they play. So that could either really help or really hurt Pope John Paul.
Shanahan, let's say they win. They lose one more game, and Pope John Paul loses that game 10. I guess it still wouldn't do much. Shanahan would have to finish with 1 less loss than Pope John Paul, probably.
I would think so. They're close in points right now. Shanahan's strength of schedule is certainly going to increase the next couple of weeks with the opponents that they have. Pope John Paul, looking at their schedule coming home, Pottsgrove, Pottstown, Upper Marion, those 3 schools have combined for 4 wins this year.
Yeah.
So they're not, going to help them too much in their average total points. I think if Pope John Paul is going to get that top seed, at least to control their own destiny, if you will, they've got to run the table. Bishop Shanahan, I think if they can, pick up 3 out of 4, I know that's a tall order. If they can pick up 3 out of 4 coming home, they should be the number 1 seed.
Good. I mean, they're really been impressed with them this year, especially offensively. Offensively, man, they've really done a lot of really, really good things. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not going to tell you they're going to repeat, right? But I mean, they definitely have to be in the conversation. Last year at this time, we weren't thinking that, and I'm definitely thinking it now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, as always, Kyle, thank you very much. Again, we'll reach out. We'd love to have you on for our final show. That would be week 9 for us, going into before the last games of the season, and really get kind of what you think is going to happen.
Thanks,
Be
Kyle.
happy to do it. All right,
Say
thanks,
hello
guys.
Say hello to Beck for us.
I will.
Yeah, tell him I said hey.
Yeah.
You got
And
it.
ask him if he can save a second for a timeout for the second quarter. Will
That's
he?
so messed up. That's
No,
actually
just
boss, you
kidding.
can't say that stuff to his
He's chuckled about it. All right. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks, Kyle.
Appreciate it.
Tom Wolf, Chester County Gridiron Insiders, breaking down our game of the week, looking at Oxford's defense. Oxford's playing Westchester East this week. This is from last week's film, Oxford versus Unionville. Oxford's in white. On this play, Oxford's in a base four-man front. Unionville is just going to try a simple zone left. And defensive line, outside linebacker-wise, if you want to defeat the zone, you got to get penetration. So you got big number 69 here and strong safety outside linebacker number 7, Joel McLean. They do a good job of beating the penetration on this outside zone, forcing the running back to go wide. And the defense pursues and makes a nice play. So again, zone left, 69 penetrates, number 7 penetrates. Here comes your linebackers, flowing over the top. Running back's got to bounce it outside. You got good pursuit here by the safety, number 12 in the corner, playing outside in. Running back has nowhere to go. So that's what you got to do. String out those sweeps, string out those outside zones. Good job on that play by Oxford. On this one, now they're in an odd front. I want to focus on big number 3, defensive end, Aiden Edson. And again, linebacker, out strong safety, McLean. Unionville's going to run a motion, jet sweep, little turnaround motion. They're trying to run jet sweep. Edson does a real nice job getting penetration on the jet sweep, which is basically like an outside zone. McLean does a good job getting that penetration. And just like the previous play, you blow it up at the point of attack, string out the play, and allow your defenders to come and help. So there's Edson right there. Edson, he does a good job blowing up the tackle. McLean reads it, does a good job wrong arming, forcing the running back wide. Here comes your corner. Here comes your safety. Here comes your outside linebacker. Good job stringing it out, and good gang tackle by Oxford. All right, Westchester East, pretty explosive pass game. I think they threw for 4 touchdowns last week against Downingtown East, so you're going to have to contain their pass game. And on this play, Unionville's trying to run a deep over concept. So you got a hitch here. You're going to run a deep crosser here, or a climb here. You're going to run a deep crosser here, and another hitch here. And Unionville earlier in the game had hit this for a big play. But you'll look at number 25, the linebacker, inside linebacker here. He does a real nice job of carrying the climb. So the quarterback for Unionville, Tommy McGinnis, he can't hit the climb. So he goes off the climb, and now he wants to look for the deep over. He hit this for a big play earlier in the game. But the safety, number 12, does a good job of staying over the top and taking away the climb. And you'll see it, the quarterback has all the time in the world. But because of the coverage, primarily 25 and 12, shutting down these 2 routes, which the quarterback wants to hit, it stops the play. And you're going to have to do that against Westchester East. So let's let this run through. Here's your climb right here. There's your climb. There's your deep over. You got a hitch and a hitch. So he's basically trying to make this safety wrong. But this linebacker does a real good job of getting underneath of it. So the safety doesn't have to come over and help. He can just stay over the top for the deep over. You see McGinnis has time. Doesn't like to climb. Doesn't like the deep over. So he's got to step out of the pocket. And he basically just runs out of bounds for a minimal gain. So good coverage there. Oxford's going to need to do that against the explosive Westchester East passing game Friday night. Finally, this last clip. Unionville's running a little pin and pull action here down at the bottom. Edson does a real nice job of, again, fighting off the block, coming back to the play, and a good individual effort punching the ball out. So let's just watch this play through. You got a down and a pull down by the wing. This little kid's trying to block big Edson. That's a tough task. Edson blows it up, comes back, And watch that punch right there. Good job getting his hand on the ball, forcing the fumble, and Unionville's actually lucky to get the ball back. So they're going to have to account for big number 3, defensive end Aiden Edson, Friday night for Oxford. Tom Wolf for Chester County Gridiron Insiders, breaking down our game of the week, Westchester East versus Oxford. So we're going to take a look at the Westchester East defense in red, led by our old colleague and friend, Coach Steve Minton. So Westchester East playing Downingtown East last Friday night. They got a 4-man front with a walked-up linebacker. 3 other linebackers in the box, so they're playing an 8-man front. Coach Minton knows stop Downingtown East, you're going to have to stop the run, and it's going to be the same thing this week against Oxford. You're going to stop the run. Downingtown East is just going to run a simple pin and pull sweep to the left. There's a pull. You got a couple down blocks. Down, pull. Fullback is going to lead there. And if you look at number 8 defensive end, Jack Anderson, kind of hard to see him here, but he does a good job fighting off these down blocks, getting downhill and making the play, stopping Downingtown East running back Jules Sharon Robinson before he can get going. Because if he gets going, you're not catching him. And it's going to be the same thing this week with Joel McLean from Oxford. Got to tackle these running backs before they get started. So right here, you see the down blocks. See Anderson fighting off of it, getting off the block, making a nice tackle for loss. Good individual effort by Anderson. Next play, 4-man front, walked up linebacker. Same play, different backfield set. And this time, focus on the defensive tackle next to Anderson, number 74, Tyler Duell. He's got to stop the line of scrimmage. He's got to make a wall at the line of scrimmage. Same play, down kick, or downtown lead through with a fullback leading. He builds a wall here, right here. He sets a wall on these down blocks and allows his teammates to swarm to the ball. So right now, Robinson doesn't know where he's going. And when you stop a running back's feet right here at the line of scrimmage, that you won. Defense is won. All I got to do is clean it up. And he does a good job there building the wall. And here come his teammates. Good gang tackle for Westchester East. Next play. Going to focus on defensive end number 3, Caleb Komorowski. He's down here. Downingtown East. It's just going to run their bread and butter play. Off-tackle power, A-gap power. Komorowski is just going to make sure the quarterback does not pull it on the boot. And once he sees the handoff, he's just going to shuffle and slide down behind the tackle who's filling play side and get his hands on the running back again before they can get going. So let's let this run through. There's Komorowski. He sees the handoff, so he disregards the quarterback. Good job, good recognition. Gets a hand on the running back just enough to slow him down and allow his teammates to make the tackle. I think he actually does make the tackle there. The running back goes down to a knee. So good individual effort by Komorowski, which they're going to need Friday night against Oxford. Last clip here. I'm beating a dead horse, but you got to stop the run. You got to stop the run to beat Oxford, to beat Downingtown East. Downingtown East is just going to run a simple counter, guard pull and kick, tackle pull and lead through. This time the middle linebacker, Alex Chappelle, number 30, does a good job reading the play, avoiding the down blocks, and getting underneath everything and stopping this play for no gain. So there's the guard and the tackle pulling. Chappelle sees it. He reads it. Gets down the line of scrimmage before the down blocks can get to him. Makes initial contact, slows up the running back, and then he allows his teammates to make the tackle. His teammates come in and help him out. So good play by Chappelle. And you're going to need to stop the run in order to beat Oxford.
Yeah, we're going to start out here analyzing the Oxford run game, specifically in the red zone as they get ready to play Westchester East next week. Here we'll take a look at Oxford against Unionville this past weekend. And we call this a rhino formation. We got 3 big bodies over on the left. They're going to shift them over to the right. We got big old Aiden Eidson in the middle here. number 3. Number 7, Joel McClain in the shotgun. And they're just going to block big on big up front, bodies on bodies, and let these Rhinos run through windows. And Joel does a great job picking a window for a score. Red zone run game. Here's another look at red zone run game, a little bit different. So again, we're inside the 5. And now we've got a 2 tight end I-back set with a flanker over on the left-hand side. And we're going to get a jet sweep. Unusual to get it with a 2-back set, but they're going to do a really nice job. And they're blocking it like outside zone. The entire front side is going to reach. If you take a look over here at the right side, 16, 72, 54, everybody's reach. Right? They're doing a good job getting the fullback out in front. And that Z receiver with speed to the corner. So we see a red zone play with a lot of big bodies hitting up in the B and C gap. And now we get a double tight formation I-backs, and we get jet sweep on the perimeter. A lot to deal with defending Oxford. And that's Jake Patterson, number 2, taking it for the score. Hey, with run game comes play action pass when you're doing things right. And, this is Oxford running a waggle play with great success. We're going to get motion across. I'll let it run once and then we'll analyze it. Quarterback Nolan Neske does a great job with the throw. Hitting Hunt, number 40. And that's a great looking play. Let's analyze and take a look what we get. So typically with waggle plays, we're going to get the backside guard to try and pull and set the edge out here. We're going to get motion across. We're going to get 2 tight ends cross, and we're going to get the front side tight end on an over route. We're going to get the backside tight end on an under route coming across. As always is the case, they're trying to get snake the fullback and get him out here in the flat. Again, with a run fake the other way, looking at boot. Great, well executed here. Motion across. We get Z on the corner. They get the fullback in the flat. They get both the down receivers to get key blocks. Tight end gets a block. Z gets a block. And we get a play action touchdown play. That's a great looking play. Another way run game's working. We're going to get, I'm going to say this is an RPO play, but we're going to get inside run action downhill. We're going to get the offset back to slip to the flat. I believe this is an RPO. I think that the quarterback might be reading the outside backer here. And if he feathers, it's a run give. And if he squats or comes downhill, he's going to pull the ball and throw it to the flat. Let's let it play and see what's what. So I believe it's RPO. Unionville's edge player, the read key for the quarterback is number 44. He sits, quarterback pulls, throws it out to Aiden Rochester, and that's a good-looking play. So again, they're a run team primarily, but very able to throw the ball with play action pass. We saw boot, and here we have a slip route RPO. Oxford's going to present a huge problem for Westchester East this weekend. Hey, we're going to take a look right now at Westchester East offense against Downingtown East. Westchester East getting prepped to play Oxford this coming week. We'll take a look at a couple of running plays and a couple of pass plays. We'll start the action here with a jet sweep play against the Cougars. And East is going to end up here in a 2-by-2 set after the shift. I'll let it run once and then we'll talk about it some. You can see the toss. It's not a handoff, it's a toss. Again, it's a great looking run play. Let's take a look at what's going down now. Obviously, we're going to get motion across. We're going to get some jet sweep motion. What they do well here, the tight end does a great job reach blocking the outside linebacker. They're going to get the tackle in the alley. They're going to get the fullback in the alley, and they're going to get a solid block here by their wide receiver. So let's take a look at this thing and see how it goes. Running back number 5, Chase Golden, with great speed. Again, it's well blocked. He's getting a lot of help. '77, Big John Hoffman and Carl Komorowski do a great job in the alley. And that's a great looking jet sweep play, well executed against a solid defense. They also have the ability to run inside. Here we're going to see a 2-back power scheme. We've been doing this now for 6 weeks, so we know what power looks like. We're going to get the center blocking back so we can get a skip pull by the backside guard, and then front side we're going to attempt to build a wall. We're going to get a lead from the fullback or the ace back. When it's done right, this back is not looking to bounce this thing outside. He's looking to take it down here, A-gap to A-gap. And Komorowski does a great job of that here. You'll get a good look at that. Fullback actually passes up a kick block. The backside guard picks it up, and Komorowski bends it backside, and that's a good-looking football play. So running inside, running outside, Oxford's going to have to deal with all of this. Vikings very able to throw the ball. Quarterback Logan Cummings, I think, has a great arm and some good instincts. Here we're going to see, I call this the universal college football pass. And we're going to get a deep ball, a post. When I coach my guys, that was always the first look. We're going to get a dig ball, underneath deep dig behind it. And as almost always is the case, we're going to get an under route here, some kind of under route to attract the attention of the linebackers. Usually the quarterbacks are coached to throw this thing deep to middle to the check down. Here we can see Logan drop. Does a great job getting this ball out off his back foot. Maybe he had a shot at post up top. No, he doesn't. I see the far safety on that hash. Takes that away. Throws his receiver open in the middle of the field. And again, that's a well-executed post-dig drag combination route here. Last one we'll look at is a red zone pass play. Well-designed play to take advantage of what Downingtown East does with their secondary rotation. So we're going to see motion to trips here. And as it goes, East is lined up corner, safety, safety, corner. But with the motion, they're going to rotate and end up with a 3-deep secondary. The corners will drop, this back safety and what happens, the front side corner ends up tilting to the field. And we're going to get a glance route here on the backside. Well done. Great looking red zone pass play by the Vikings. I believe that's Chase Golden on the receiving end. Does a great job getting inside leverage on the corner. And the throws on time and on target. Again, Westchester East having a solid season. And Oxford has been really, really tough. Should be a really great Chesmont football game this coming Friday.
Rocky, rocky, rocky. Red 83. Rocky, rocky, rocky.
All right, we get to that time of the show. We are week 6, edition 7, predictions segment. But first, the prediction segment on our show is brought to you by professional mortgage advisors. They're known for their experience, knowledge, and trust. They help guide you through all your mortgage needs and find the product that best suits you. So call 484-445-4599 for advice with any type of mortgage. All right. Well, last week, we'll let Coach Milano explain to you what happened. We'll go over the records. So, Coach, you want to get started?
If you want help with your predictions, call Coach Milano.
Yeah, go ahead and give your phone number.
We won't do that. Hey, after 6 games, though, 6 weeks of games, our predictions, we have 2 sets of ties, and now I know why Tom doesn't show up on Mondays. Coach Wolf is 47-18 in his picks over the 6 games, and Pete and Nate both have 51 correct selections and 14 not so correct. And EJ, after talking a little bit of trash, lost a game last week while the old guy here went 8-0, and we were both 53-12 after 6 weeks in the prediction category. I'm coming on.
Jeez. Yes, sure is. All right, let's take a look at this week's game. So I have the pleasure again, while Coach Wolf is on assignment, I'll give you his picks as well. So we're going to start off with a old school rivalry, Avongrove and Unionville. Man, Unionville's been playing some really good football. I know they've lost a couple games, and Avongrove kind of started out strong, and it looks like they're, let's face it, they really had some tough opponents they had to play. But, they're kind of going, I guess, opposite of Unionville, we would say. So all of us here feel like Unionville, being at home, will take this league matchup. But it's, Avongrove still playing. Yeah, their first half, they played pretty good.
They still play the games.
Yeah, exactly. Shanahan at Sun Valley. As Nate might, go differently here. I mean, that is a long drive, right? Shanahan, what are you thinking, Nate?
I'd say the only way Sun Valley has a shot to win is if James Franklin takes over Shanahan.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
I was going to say if
Shanahan can walk to Sun Valley.
the bus went the wrong direction.
I think Anthony Aquila's from Sun Valley, so maybe a little extra for him this week too.
Yes. So everyone has Shanahan in that game. And Shanahan, offensively, Shanahan is fireworks. Like they really, special teams, offense. I mean, they're killing you. 4 different guys that can score regularly. I watch out for them. I'd like to see them get that 1 seed somehow. As when we were talking to Kyle Berger, if you didn't sense that. Henderson at Coatesville. Henderson just, after getting off to that, fast start, they really played some tough teams, and Coatesville's obviously going to be a tough team for them on the road. I think we're all going to take the Red Raiders there. Great Valley at Downingtown West. The Whippets are at home again at Kottmeyer. I don't know if anybody saw my post, right? But if you're coming to the game, really highly recommend the cheese and chili fries. And Tom said the hot dogs never get cold. So if you're going to the Great Valley game, you want to do that and, take the Whippets as well. We're all going to take the Whippets.
Yeah.
Probably no Cannon, but I don't know if that makes a difference either. So
what's that?
They probably know Amari Cannon for West this week, but I don't think that really makes too much of a difference. So.
Yeah, I think they're still going to be okay.
Jacob Barry's a pretty suitable.
Yeah, they always have good backups. Yeah. Kennett at Chi. Chi definitely having one of their better years in a while, but Kennett is 5-1, and they're playing some really good football too. So I think all of us here are going to take Coach Frazier and the Blue Demons on their trip to Chi. How far is that, Nate? Is that a long?
No.
Well, that's close enough. Close enough for a win for Canada, I think.
All right, just wanted to make sure. All right, 2 games. We're going to start off. Both of these games, by the way, are good enough to be games of the week. We just sometimes don't like to, we just had Ruston last week, and then we had them twice. So we're going to stay away from Ruston, and then we'll have to get Coach Mattis Cougars in later on in the year. I'm sure we'll have plenty of opportunity to do that. Got any stats for us, Nate?
Well, for which one? Downtown East?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just, obviously Jules Robinson's been the workhorse. He's over 1,000 yards for the season already. But looking at some of the other guys, John Moran averaging 80 yards a game the last 3 games. Rio scored 4 touchdowns last week, so they're starting to get some other guys the ball and give Jules a little break. And obviously anybody they put in there seems to be cranking out stats. When you look at just the way the matchup works, playing against Ruston, Downtown East has given up a ton of yards passing, almost 1,000 yards passing this year, 360 almost to Westchester East last week. The problem is Ruston averages about 20 yards a game in the air. They really struggled this year throwing the ball with any kind of success, and obviously it's not a big part of their game anyway. Interested to see how Ruston can make some big plays. It seems like East has given up a lot of big plays. North Bend, Westchester East last week, some big plays down the field. I think that's Ruston's best shot. They got to break a few. Garner's been that kind of guy. Paul Desari's been coming on. I just don't think Ruston has enough passing game. I don't think they have enough play action to be able to score that way, and I think that's what ultimately kills them. So I'm going to go with Downtown East.
Okay. Pete?
Well, you got two heavyweights here and two teams that like to run the football and stop the run. I think Nate hit it right on the head. I mean, I don't think play action is going to fool the Cougars. They're going to load the box. Ruston's had trouble throwing the football, and that's the Achilles heel of Downingtown East. They can't defend the pass. I like Downingtown East in a really close one.
Okay. Coach Wolf also taking Downingtown East. To no one's surprise.
He walked out on that small limb, did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Since Coach Milano's got the better of me the last couple weeks, I'll go first. I don't want to be accused of any. I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna take Ruston. Both their losses have come for whatever reason, on 2-point conversions. One, they failed to attempt to get. They actually went to belly sweep, which is not one of their.
They had success with it during the game.
They put that in for that game. So there's that, and then they gave up one, right, Nate, against Pope John, and that's how they lost.
Yep.
So they're 0 for 2 so far on 2-point conversions. I don't know if this one's going to come down to 1-2. Wouldn't surprise me. But a couple things I know, and I don't know. Only Coach Wolf knows, and maybe that's why he stayed away. I believe Downingtown East quarterback may be questionable for the game.
No play.
So, okay, and then Pete says he's going to play, so we got that. Something tells me he got that from a reliable source. And then the one, I don't know, did either one of you guys talk to Coach St. Clair? I did not get an opportunity to.
No, I didn't.
To me, 7 minutes left in the game, right, and he went for 2. I didn't see. Was there the kicker get hurt or did something?
There wasn't a lot of there. There was a lot of really good defense. Felt like it was his chance to win. I get it.
Okay, so maybe you would have done the same thing, because I did get questions, and unfortunately, I don't think it's fair for me to answer for Coach.
I don't know. 7 minutes left if I would have, but I get it.
Yeah.
He told me after the game he figured he'd get the ball back. Either he'd take the lead there or he'd get the ball back with another chance. And they did, and had the ball at midfield and had a throw down the field that went right through the receiver's hands.
Yeah.
Tough catch. The way he had to adjust, but I mean, it was right there for the taking. So I mean, it's just obviously some of those games come down to a little bad luck too.
He already missed one PAT. I mean, it was 13.
Okay, well then there you go.
He already missed one.
Yeah, both teams had a PAT block that game.
Yeah.
All right, so that's great. That's good information. Glad we put it out there. Like I said, I'm taking Ruston. I mean, like we're saying, hey, Downingtown East, they're going to load the box. They're going to stop the run. I'm sure Downingtown East loaded the box the last 3 times they played them too, and Ruston was able to come away with the win. So I still like Ruston here. I'm going to take them until the Cougars do beat them, and not that they can. Obviously, they have an explosive running game. But I think this is evenly matched. I really do.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Coach Milano.
Yeah, I agree. Ruston's impressive too. I saw him last week with West. Mirror image teams. I mean, obviously one's a wing T team and the other one's an I-back power team, but they both want to run the ball. We're talking about Ruston's pass game, but when they do throw, it's not short stuff. They're taking shots, right? It's waggle with the backside post, belly keep pass in the double type formation, and typically they get 1 or 2 of those, and those are big plays for those guys. I was also impressed defensively. Downingtown West is no slouch running the ball either, and Ruston was solid. I mean, really solid. If the East quarterback can't play, that's a big deal, I think, because I think East is going to have to make a play or 2 in the air as well. And I know Ruskin's had success against East the last couple times I'm hearing, but I'm going to pick Downtown East to win the football game in a really close, hard-fought football game.
Wow. I didn't expect that. So, all right, let's move to the game of the week. So we have Westchester East traveling to Oxford. We might as well start at the opposite end of this. Well, you know what? Let's start with Coach Wolf. Coach Wolf took Oxford in this one. So, Coach Wano?
Yeah, again, Oxford 5-1, correct? Westchester East 4-2.
4-2. And the 2 losses were tough.
Yeah, and I know at one point a week or so ago we were talking about Oxford's schedule, but they continue to play well and win. And I did the breakdown on them this week, and they've got some excuse me. They've got some folks that can run the football. They're tough, they're physical, all those things. Westchester East has played a better schedule, and I like watching them throw the ball a little bit. They're able to do that as well. I'm going to pick Westchester East in this one.
Okay. I'm going to, talking to Coach Means, I know there was an opportunity. They were up 7 at one point, I think, in the first half. We did not put this on our highlights, and then coaches wouldn't have had it on their breakdowns because it was a special team. They ran a fake punt and got it all the way to the 5-yard line. If they punch it in there, not saying that they would have, but there's a good chance they're up 14. Instead, they had, I think the tackle lined up offsides. They got a penalty, and then East gets the ball after they punt, and then they take it in. So that's a 14-point swing right there. You know, ifs and buts obviously doesn't mean anything. You wind up losing it's Unionville, my fault. But I mean, that's Unionville's a very, very good football team, right? It's at home. From my understanding, I know Westchester East is going to get. They were out without Chase Solos last week. They will have him back this week, from what I understand. But they're still banged up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he was out since the beginning. But I mean, they have some linemen that were injured for the last couple of games. Not sure if they're getting them back or not. So I'm going to take Oxford. I'm going to take the home team, Oxford. And then we'll see. Anybody? You guys got any stats?
I mean, you're looking at Westchester East. Obviously, they played Coatesville and Downtown East, so there's a little bit of an understanding there. But they've given up 680 yards rushing the last 2 games. Even going back another game, Cottsgrove put 191 on them on the ground. So I think if you're Westchester East side of things, that kind of makes you a little nervous with Oxford's run game. The way the McLean brothers are able to move the ball, and obviously pretty big offensive line there. The thing about Oxford lately, though, Neske, first-year starter, he's got 4 touchdowns the last 2 games. Making some big plays through the air with the play action. They love hitting those tight ends in the seams. It's a really interesting game here. I know Oxford was disappointed the way they lost last week. Playing Unionville real tough and then kind of letting it go at the end. Westchester East, 2 straight losses. They're kind of desperate to get a win here too. So I think this is a really, really tough one. Coach Milano's ahead of me in a couple games, so I'm going to have to go against him just to try to catch up. I'm going to go with Oxford at home.
Okay.
The Black Cat.
The Black Cat. I like Westchester East in this one, guys. I'm really impressed with the Logan Cummings, the quarterback. He seems to have found his favorite receiver, Matt Kendra. They torched Coatesville for a couple pretty long touchdown passes 2 weeks ago, 2 of them. And I know McLean is one of the best backs in the district, and Oxford has some big boys up front. I just have a feeling Zalo's coming back. Westchester East is going to squeak out a win here.
I did, in talking to Coach Means, and he didn't tell me I couldn't say this. So he said, even though, the younger boy, the sophomore quarterback, he felt like he is now in the middle of the season, not necessarily a sophomore anymore, and feels like he can take the reins off of him. So that'll be interesting to see how much that opens up that offense.
You mentioned Cummings for Westchester East, 8 touchdowns the last 3 weeks, so he's obviously playing, his first year starting too. Same kind of thing on that side. Kind of the reins are coming off. He's obviously, Golden had 240 yards receiving last week. One of those long touchdowns against Downtown East that we talked about. But I think this is going to be a fun one.
I agree. We all agree.
It'll be a great game, I think.
Should be a great week. You know, those two. Man, I wish I could split myself in half and go to both those games. Fortunately, Nate, where are you going to be?
I got to work a wedding this Friday, unfortunately, so I won't be anywhere fun.
That's awesome, man. That's great. So
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah,
Just
thanks.
stay-
I'll be on my
hey.
Twitter.
Who are you picking in that one, Nate? Who are you picking in that one?
The wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure, Nate, you tune in to ChesCo Gridiron Insiders on X. We'll keep you updated and have video, anything you need.
Exactly.
All right. Pete, where are you going to be?
Rustin.
Perfect. So you're going to be at Ruston. I will be at Oxford. That is our game of the week, as said, and hopefully it's as good as all the other game of the weeks we've had coming down to the last quarter and the last minute. Coach Milano, assuming you'll be at Kottmeyer.
I'll go see the Whippets play.
All right, I appreciate it. Keep us informed. All right, and
Maybe it's some good
that's it.
mojo, but maybe some good mojo over here. I'm the wedding, the cousin of old Oxford receiver Ryan Hubley, so maybe that's a little good
Ryan
juju
Hubley,
for the
yeah.
Hornets. So
He's
We'll
a heck
see.
of a player.
All right, well, everybody get out and enjoy the games this week. Visit your local concession stands and let us know how they are, and we'll see you next week.